Is there a truly reality out there that humans could really know? It's an age-old battle between realists and absolutists. God is not great, how religion ruins everything. And yet it's utterly and totally ridiculous. We need to live for something beyond ourselves. Most folks have heard of John Kennedy. Not so many, though, have ever heard of John Kennedy Toole, author of Confederacy of Dunces. Born in 1937, Toole grew up in the South. He graduated Tulane, got a master's at Columbia, and taught. He did a stint in the Army teaching English to Spanish-speaking students. And then the young man also spent years working on a comic novel about a sanctimonious loser named Ignatius Riley living in New Orleans. He took the work to Simon & Schuster, which shows some excitement about it, turned it down, saying it's really not about anything. Dejected, no doubt, by the rejection of his manuscript and his inability to get it published, Toole started going down fast. And ultimately, he committed suicide by putting an end of a garden hose on an exhaust pipe of a car, the other end of the window, and gassed himself to death. He was 32 years old. You know, now John Kennedy O'Toole probably would have just been another statistic, only in a different column from most of the dead, except for his mother, who for years after, she hounded the publishers and editors with her deceased son, as she called it, masterpiece. Then, you know, it was almost as if a scenario from the book itself. She forced herself and the manuscript on the well-known Southern author Walter Percy, who was teaching at Loyola University at the time. And Percy explained what happened next. He said, over the years, I've become very good at getting out of things I don't want to do. And if there was ever something I didn't want to do, this was surely it. You know, to deal with the mother of a dead novelist, and worst of all, to have to read a manuscript that she said was great, and that turned out was badly smeared, scarcely readable carbon. This was back in 1976. Anyway, he started reading the book, and he said he started reading, and he kept on going and going, and this is what happened. He said, in this case, I read on, first with the sinking feeling that it was not bad enough to quit, then with a prickle of interest, then a growing excitement, and finally an incredulity. Surely it was not possible that it was so good. Well, anyway, using his influence, Percy got the novel published, originally with the Louisiana State University Press. So the gist of it was the manuscript, which when Toole was alive he couldn't get published, sold after he was dead more than 1.5 million copies in 18 languages. In 1981, the book won Toole the Nobel Prize for Literature. Of course, all the good it did him, 12 years riding in a casket under New Orleans, and who knows if the corpse even survived Katrina. Now, from one perspective, this was what an absurd waste. A suicide at 32 because his book wasn't published. And I thought even worse, though, the book itself, despite the rave reviews. Oh, they said it was an astonishingly good novel. Another person said an epic comedy. One other guy said one of the funniest books ever written. The book was really 394 pages of blathering nonsense. It was a confederacy of caricatures, not characters, a hodgepodge of people no one would believe could have been real or even would have wanted to have been real. Sure, that the Confederacy of Dunces, sure, it had some funny lines, made a few original statements about American society, but beyond that, Simon & Schuster's original statement that the book isn't really about anything, I believe catches it all. Now think about this. Toole spent years writing about nothing, only to kill himself when all those years writing about nothing seemed as if it was all for nothing. And then after he's dead, his book about nothing gets translated in an 18 language. You know, there's an absurdity to this all. I think it's a metaphor for the meaningless of so much of who we are and what we do. If you think about it for a minute, how much nothing absorbs us, in the sense of how much that we do will really, really matter tomorrow, much less a year from now, much less after we're gone. I'm sure many people have thought, how much of what you do in your life from day to day really matters? If you were honest, how much of your life as a whole seems to really matter? If you were zapped and disappeared tomorrow, how much of a difference do you think it would make in the world? You know, most of us don't really get to leave a legacy such as Tools, a silly book about nothing. Sure, many leave behind children, but that only extends the absurdity of it all to another generation. You know, another crop of beings destined to spend most of their lives doing nothing of value and then die leaving nothing behind, but more beings destined to spend most of their lives doing nothing and then die, until sooner or later the whole process stops and there's nothing left of all of anything. I don't know if you ever saw Woody Allen's movie, Annie Hall. In it, Alvy Singer is a little kid. He's like Woody Allen's alter ego. And he's a child, and he's having a childhood crisis. He heard in school about the ultimate demise of the universe. They said that, they tell us one day the universe is going to blow up or whatever. So this little kid is struggling to find any reason to go on living. He doesn't want to go to school. He won't do anything. So his mother takes him to Dr. Flicker to get help. And the doctor says, "Why are you so depressed, Alvy? Alvy says, "The universe is expanding. The universe is everything. And if it's expanding, someday it'll break apart and that'll be the end of everything." Well, and then the mother, meanwhile, she starts going, "What is that your business?" the mother shouts. Then she turns to him and said, "He stopped doing his homework." And then what's the point? He says, "The universe is expanding." And the mother says, "What's the universe got to do with it?" His mother shouts, "You're here in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's not expanding." But in a sense, this is a very depressing legacy that the scientific revolution has given of the 17th century has given to the 21st. See, what they've done is they've reduced all existence from a beautiful sunset to our emotions when we view the sunset into nothing but matter, into mathematics, into what was ancient Greek once called atoms in the void. Now, however useful, that revolution was, and say moving humanity, say from astrology to astronomy, from horse-drawn carts to smart cars, in the end, it's left us nothing of transcendence. It's left us nothing of anything beyond the physical world that we have here now before us. A world that we are told, science tells us, is doomed for destruction. They say the universe is either going to keep on expanding and it's going to break apart, or they say the universe is all going to come together and crunch together until the whole universe is nothing but the size of a fist. Now, where are you going to be and all your hopes and all your dreams and everything if one day the universe is the size of a fist? So what has the scientific revolution in the end left us? It's left us a collapsing universe. It's left us now a world full of global warming, weapons of mass destruction, and on and on and on. So in point, the scientific revolution, what promised us so much, has left us what? It's gotten rid of God. It's gotten rid of the idea of transcendence. It's turned everything into molecules and into scientific formulas and so on. And that's all it's left us. See, the bottom line is, if we want hope, if we want answers, I think we're wasting our time trying to look for it in science. We're wasting our time trying to look for it in art and humanity, because these are all just part of the world itself. And we're told, scientists agree, that one day the universe and everything in it is all going to be gone. And thus us and all our hopes and all our dreams and anything we create, anything we have done, it's all one day going to vanish. No memory, no conscious of it. There is no God, there's no conscious being to even remember us. It'll be as if we'd never been here. That's the legacy we've been left with. That's not the legacy, though, that I accept. I believe that the God of the Bible has a different ending, has a different beginning than what the scientists tell us, unless it gives us a different ending. And it gives us a hope that there's nothing that this world offers us. And that's what the Bible offers us. And that's a hope there. So I'd say, hey, check it out for yourself, because there's nothing. What else do you have? What is the world going to offer us? A world that in and of itself is decaying and dying.